So she's one of our great champions, DiDi Barrett.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, a little more energy, please. All right, yes. I'm Assemblymember DiDi Barrett, and you are in my beautiful 106th Assembly District, so welcome.
All right.
As Johnny said, I think we need to update the bio because actually I am now chair of the Assembly's Task Force on People with Disabilities and also on the Environmental Conservation Committee, and a lot of the work that we did this past session was around environmental issues. So in addition to all of those other things which were completely true, I add that information. As some of you may know, this is somebody said to me, well, I'm in the 19th Congressional District. This is the 19th Congressional District too. There are 11 counties in the 19th Congressional District, so it's extraordinary for all of you to come together as activists and leaders to look at flipping a seat that should be in Democratic hands. I first got involved in politics here locally, having been involved a long time in other parts of the city and elsewhere. But when Kirsten Gillibrand was elected right here in 2006 to be the congressperson from this area, and while the lines have changed a little after the census in 2010, this is fundamentally that seat. And since Kirsten, a short window when Scott Murphy won, we haven't been able to return that seat to Democratic hands, and it's time we do that now. This time. I tell you this because I am the first Democrat and the first woman to represent my district in the New York State Legislature. I don't think Columbia County, we've tried to look back and see what the history here is, but maybe when Martin Van Buren, who was a Democrat, maybe that's the last time a Democrat represented this area. So we can do this, we can make this change happen, and it's essential that all of you, with the leadership that you've taken in your own communities, ensure that this keeps going, because we have a lot of work to do in the next 18 months. And the first challenge really is this November. Our local elections really matter. And I know it's not as romantic to think about a town board election or a county ledge seat or supervisor. Congress seems like it's a bigger deal, but the reality is the things that really touch people's lives, that really impact them on a day-to-day basis, are the local positions, are the town boards and the county legislatures. So those are races that really need everybody's engagement. And even more than that, this is truly where the rubber meets the road in elections, we need some wins. We need to show the people in the greater 19th district that we can flip some seats, that we can make some change happen. The protesting and the walking and the phone calls and all of this that people have been doing, and it's been phenomenal, and I thank all of you for your leadership role in your own communities for making that happen. But really, as I say, where the rubber meets the road is at the election booth, and we've got to make sure that you have some successes this November to ensure that we continue on and build on a momentum. I don't know, whether you all have gotten the candidates you need. I know I was chatting with Doreen before, and it's been challenging in her county, but people need to understand that it's not enough just to make phone calls and protest. You got to step up and run. Women generally have to be asked to run, so those of you in leadership positions, don't hesitate to go to women and men in your communities and say, thanks for all those phone calls, thanks for all those letters you've been writing, thanks for all of that, but we really need you to step up and run right now for town board, for county legislature, for school board, for library board, for whatever it is, because that's how we build a base. That's how we create both engagement and knowledge, but also get some wins. We really do have an area that for too long has been in Republican hands, and it shouldn't be. This is not the nature of this district. We are the Hudson Valley is the the genesis of the environmental movement in this country, in this state, in this country. You know, New York City is where the gay rights movement started at Stonewall, and we have incredible communities here up and down the Hudson Valley and across the 19th District. And to have a member of Congress who is not outwardly supportive of LGBTQ rights is really troubling. We have the founding of the women's movement here in New York State, and for this region not to be represented by somebody who is passionate about protecting women and ensuring that health care is available to everyone and that being a woman is not a pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
That, I mean, these are fundamental values that we all share, and we know that most of our neighbors share as well. This is not something that's controversial. These are basic. This is what New Yorkers feel, and so we should be represented by somebody who doesn't think twice about being sure that the Violence Against Women Act is reauthorized and that Planned Parenthood is funded. The funding for Planned Parenthood, we're talking about paying, but the federal funding for Planned Parenthood is funding that basically pays them for the services for Medicaid patients. We're not talking about anything controversial here either. We're talking about basically paying for the services that Planned Parenthood provides for our neighbors and family members who come to them for health care. This is health care. This is not something, kind of out there that should be looked at in any kind of controversial way. And, and the environmental concerns, I mean, we have this issue right now in the last year, where the Coast Guard, encouraged by this administration's support for increase in oil products and the transport of both drilling and then transporting across the country and then sending it down the Hudson River, which New York gets absolutely no benefit for because it's basically, we're just the conduit, the transit here. But New York State really came very close to having something like 10 different anchorages for 43 different sites right along our beautiful Hudson River. This is not the Mississippi. This is not an industrial river. This is the river that gave birth to the Hudson River School of Painting. I had the opportunity, family was visiting this week, and we went to the Thomas Cole House. And, what an incredible treasure to have that and Olana right across the river here in Columbia and Greene counties. But, I mean, those artists were early environmentalists. They recognized the incredible treasure that they had here. And the fact that we here in the 21st century might put all of that at risk, and the reality is every decade, every few decades, there's another crisis where this region is at risk and the river is at risk, but the damage that could happen to our habitats, to our water systems, to local businesses, to the local tourism economy, and also to homeland security, and this was a really interesting piece of this Anchorage's discussion. The local sheriffs actually supported our legislation not to have these anchorages here because it's very easy for explosives and other very damaging pieces to be attached to these anchorages, in the middle of the night without anybody knowing, and very hard for them to monitor. So this was a really bad idea. Fortunately, the Coast Guard took another look at this and the 10,000 letters. So if you think your activism doesn't matter, it does. The 10,000 letters from this region that said, and I think something like 94% of them were against these anchorages, and said, all right, we're gonna cool our heels for a bit here and not look at this. And we do need the governor to sign that bill because it continues to be a risk in our region. Even without these additional ones, there's currently an anchorage site right in Hyde Park, right off the Vanderbilt Mansion. And the legislation that we introduced and that we passed in the Assembly and in the Senate gives the Department of Environmental Conservation, expands the criteria that they look at to reject these tanker avoidance zones, or to create these tanker avoidance zones and reject these sightings. And environmental and habitat issues are now part of the mix there. So we're hoping the governor will sign this and that we will get that work done as quickly as possible here and continue to protect our river. We still obviously have work to do in getting the PCBs out. You probably all read about the EPA's decision that, hey, we're done, and hey, we're not. So continue your activism, continue your work, step up and run. I'm happy to answer any questions if I can, but mostly I just really want you to understand that we have to be in this for the long haul. This is a marathon, this is not a sprint. Stay with us, stay here through the end, and we got to make change happen here because our country and our region, we're so blessed to live in this really beautiful part of New York State. And there's a lot at risk here, and it's all about us and our future generations having the same beautiful Hudson Valley, beautiful Catskill region that we all live in for future generations to come. Thank you.